Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Isaiah 49, verses 14 and 15. Zion said, Yahweh has forsaken me, and my Adonai has forgotten me. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Motherless Child.
I'm like a motherless child in a peculiar tumult, rejected by close relatives who say I'm in a cult. Cause I say Yahshua's my savior and Yahweh's the creator. They notice my mistakes, forsaking the change in my behavior. Another day in the life of a slave, yet being led by the Spirit shall keep us guided through this maze. And there we sat down by the rivers of Babylon, and there we wept when we remembered our home and those that carried us away. So nerve required of us a song. That's how we sing Yahweh's song in a land not our own. It makes me wanna holler the way they do my life. I roar like a lion, it steals like a motherless child, a long way from Zion.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. You know, sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
It's a long way
from home. A long way from home.
Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. You know,
Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone.
you know,
Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone.
it's a long way
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
You know,
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
it's a long way
Way from home.
a long way
From home.
Hallelujah.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch on to prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in the Stone Mountain, Georgia. You know, as we get closer and closer to the redemption of the children of Israel, we have to take into account that we are representing our Elohim, and understanding that the adversary, the devil, is going to try his best to make Yahweh appear in a bad form by dealing with us in a suspect way and making us react. It is all an attack on Yahweh, but we will be the ones that he will use to do that. And in understanding that, we're going to have to make a serious effort in stepping away from the appearance of evil. Not that all things may be actually evil. The whole thing is about trying to make Yahweh look a certain way. And the adversary has done that from the beginning of this book by just even putting in the minds of the man and the woman, you will not surely die. That whole thing was then to be make Yahweh out to be a liar. It was all about seeing how he could disfigure the look of Yahweh, the image of Yahweh. And we're going to have to understand that if he can't get to Yahweh, he's going to get to who he has access to, and that's us, and use us to make a bad representation upon Yahweh's great and holy name. And if we understand that, then we have to consider that these things are not personal per se. This is our Father's business. But we have to know that we are going to be used in that capacity, that he's going to try and do something with us, whether it might be frighten us, maybe push us in a corner to see how we're going to react, and then take all of our actions and put them upon Yahweh. That's what we have to consider. Now, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 22, it is stated to abstain from all appearance of evil. This statement coincides with what is written in the law. Exodus 23 and verse 7 says, keep you far from a false matter. We have to understand that our acceptance of a false matter or something that may appear to be a false matter then will cause eventually other people to join in who may not know of those things, but it will also make our God end up to appear in a light that is unfavorable. We're going to begin today's sermon in John chapter 7, and we're going to read verses 1 through 24. John chapter 7 and verses 1 through 24, and today's sermon is entitled, The Appearance of Evil.
After these things, Yahshua walked in Galilee, where he would not walk in Uri, because the Yehudis sought to kill him. Now the Yehudis' Feast of Tabernacles was at hand.
Right. Now, first of all, how many people will you encounter who say they so-called love God? Ask them what the Feast of Tabernacles is, and they have no idea. This New Testament we're reading. It's not Old Testament, and we come across the Feast of Tabernacles. This is New Testament. Go ahead.
His brethren therefore said unto him, depart hence, and go into Judea, that your disciples also may see the works that you doeth. For there is no man that does anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world.
Now, you have to pay attention to, things that are spoken and how they are presented. Verse 3 says, his brethren therefore said unto him, depart hence and go into Judea, that your disciples also may see the works that you do. For there is no man that does anything in secret, and he himself seeks to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world. Now read verse 5.
For neither did his brethren believe in him.
So then this was a provocation. Go ahead.
Then Yahshua said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hates, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil.
Right. So when you go along with the status quo, the world is going to love you. Why? Because you're not shining any light on any dealings that are done incorrectly. But when you start speaking the things that are written in this book, you are going to get you some haters. And if you don't have any, I can tell you what you're not doing. I don't know what you're doing, but I know what you ain't doing. Go ahead.
Go you up unto this feast. I go not yet up unto this feast, for my time is not yet full come. When he had said these words unto them, he abode still in Galilee. But when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up unto the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. Then the Yehudis sought him at the feast, and said, Where is he? And there was much murmuring among the people concerning him. For some said, He is a good man. Others said, No, but he deceives the people.
Now, in all of this talk about, they're at the feast and they're expecting to see him, why don't we have a speech about how the feasts are done away with? And see, we don't ask any of these questions when people start talking about what we don't have to do. Well, wait a minute. He had a perfect opportunity to go into the feast and say, this shall be no more. He had a perfect opportunity. He's standing there amongst the people. They are looking for him at the feast. He doesn't go up with everybody, but comes up later. He's at the feast. He has the perfect opportunity to say, we ain't got to keep none of this no more. See, there's a whole lot of things that are perceived, but nobody can go back to, okay, where do you get that from? Because I don't read anywhere where he said, we don't have to do any of these things. Go ahead.
Howbeit no man spake openly of him for fear of the Yehudis. Now about the midst of the feast, Yahshua went up into the temple and taught. And the Yehudis marveled, saying, I know this man letters, having never learned. Yahshua answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me.
Right. So if when people get to the point of saying, thank you, Jesus, they don't even understand who they're supposed to be thanking. He said the doctrine that I'm dealing with is not my doctrine. I didn't bring this doctrine. I'm following the instructions that were given unto me. So how are we going to stand at a point and say we can't follow any instructions when the Savior who is our intercessor, he is following instructions? Go ahead.
If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of Elohim or whether I speak of myself.
Mm-hmm.
He that speaks of himself seeks his own glory, but he that seeks his glory that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him. Did not Moshe give you the law, and yet none of you keep the law? Why go you about to kill me? The people answered and said, You have a devil. Who goes about to kill you?
Mm-hmm.
Yahshua answered and said unto them, I have done one work, and you all marvel.
If they have called the master of the house a devil and Beelzebub, how much more shall they say about you? But if you already know that, why are you offended? Go ahead.
Even in that statement, he says, if any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine. And your will could just be simply wanting to do your own way.
Mm-hmm.
I said, do it this way.
Right.
Now I feel like doing it this way.
Yep. And just in that, you have been separated from the direction of the Holy Spirit, because you may want to do the same thing, but you want to do the same thing in a different manner. There's sometimes that Yahshua is doing some things and they don't understand. Well, why are you doing that? Just like they said at one point, they said he's talking to the woman. They all wonder, what are you talking to her for? Yeah, the women ain't even in the sanctuary. Where we at? Why are you talking doctrine to her? They wondered, but they ain't open their mouth. They had enough sense. Now you asking? No, you asking. See, a lot of us get conned into doing somebody else's dirty work. Hey man, what you gonna ask Yahshua? Why you talking to the woman? All right, I ask her right after you do it. I ain't doing that. You go ahead. You bad? Ask him. Say it with your chest. Go ahead.
Moshe therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moshe, but of the fathers. And you on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. If a man on the Sabbath day receives circumcision, that the law of Moshe should not be broken, are you angry at me because I have made a man every whit whole on the Sabbath day?
And you have to look at what kind of problem do you really have if, you are, having an issue that a man was healed on the Sabbath day. It's not about the healing. You are feeling some kind of way about the work that he can do and you can't do. Who argues about a healing and on what day the healing is done on? And if you consent that his healing is work, then you consent that he's an healer. See, people don't really understand what they do. If this is what you said that a man should not work on the Sabbath day, right? If he's healing on the Sabbath day and you have a problem, you have consented that he's a healer because you have now said that he's working on the Sabbath day. So you have consented that that is his job. See, sometimes your anger tell on you. See, you don't even know that your anger done told on you. You know this is his job. But you won't acknowledge him for being who he is and what he is. But your anger tells on you. Go ahead.
Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
Now, this is where things get interesting. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8. When you talk about the appearance of something, you go through some of these news articles and you just see article after article about how our people are breaking the law and all of these things, and all of the other ethnicities that commit way worse things, they never hit the news. When they do get arrested, they get half the time that we get, if they get half. This whole thing is made for us to appear a certain way. And the attack against us is also an attack against our Elohim. The powers that be don't see it that way, but Yahshua is going to take care of that business. Go ahead, bro. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Now, as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffs up, but love edifies.
Knowledge puffs up. Now, we all have knowledge, but what do you allow your knowledge to do for you and with you? Go ahead.
And if any man think that he knows anything, he knows nothing yet as he ought to know. But if any man love Elohim, the same is known of him. As concerning thereof the eating of those things that are offered to sacrifice unto idols, unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other Elohim but one.
So we know that an idol is a figment of somebody's imagination. All right, once we come to the truth, we understand that. When people say, we finna go have our Christmas dinner, we know that that is an idol. We don't. Now, they still get that cool menthol feeling when they get to certain. Ooh, look at the lights on the tree. Ooh, it still gives them that chill. Now you remember when you were stupid, you got that same feeling. We should ride around town looking at the houses with the lights on it, and it gave you that because you was ignorant to the word. Once you realize, man, this is an idol. This ain't real. And at some point, even the kids realize it ain't real. Hold on. So the fat dude came down the chimney and he put these presents in here, right? What you think we need to, why the alarm don't catch him? Why he gonna come in? You know, see, your kids will start asking you, your kids will pick out your lies in a minute. So then you got them kids that pay attention to the house. We ain't got no chimney there. Ain't no chimney in here. How he getting in here? He come through the pipes. He brought that bicycle through the pipe. You see how far, the more inquisitive the kid is, the more of a liar you have to be. So the kid starts saying, well, wait a minute. So the bike came through the pipes. He came through the pipe. We put out milk and cookies. He ate them and went back into the pipes. This lie gets worse and worse and worse. Why? To prop up this thing of an idol. And people, parents will get upset with you.
Look, don't ruin it for him.
You mean ruin it for him or ruin it for you?
Don't tell him.
So then the older brothers will be told,
Don't you tell your brother ain't no Santa Claus. You better not tell him. He have to grow up and find that out on his own. You don't tell him that. It'll ruin him.
the truth will ruin it. If he find out the truth, it'll ruin it. So you got to consider that, okay? So we have a certain amount of knowledge, so we know that the idol is nothing. And everybody, whether they are in the word or out of the word, they've all got to the point where somebody realized Santa Claus was a lie. Come on. You knew that before you even got in this word. You didn't have to get in the word, you know, and you came on the Sabbath day.
Did you know Sock said Santa Claus ain't real?
Now one of y'all as a grown man went home and called your mom. Mama,
Did you know that Sock said?
you already knew that when you got here. So this point, all of us can relate to. That there's a point of ignorance where you believe that the idol is real. But most of us pass that point of ignorance at 9, 10 years old. That we realize this can't be real. Then, of course, you know, then after that, the kids start doing stakeouts. You start asking your kid,
It's 6 o'clock in the evening. Why are you taking a nap? No reason.
right, he want to make sure, I'm going to be up at midnight. You better believe it in. Because something fishy going on, and I'm about to find, I'm getting to the bottom of this here. He got his Inspector Gadget coat on. He got all his go-go gadget arms. He ready. He's like, I'm finna expose a liar in here. So they already get to this point. So here we are. We at the point. We have knowledge. We know that this is not real. But what do we do after that? Go ahead.
I got a question for you, man. How many houses in your neighborhood approximately? About 20?
I reckon.
Okay. Then everybody put out milk and cookie. And he ate milk and cookie at every house he went to.
Hey, that's why he fat. They say he was a fat, jolly guy, right? I did, man. He done ate 1 million cookies. You know, all in one night. I don't know why he ain't got no stomachache. Hey, man. Where I grew up, nobody had a chimney. Everybody in that neighborhood had to lie. Everybody. Ain't no chimneys in the hood. We didn't have no chimneys. Nobody there had a chimney. So from house to house, maybe all the parents got together and
Figure out, all right, y'all huddle up. What kind of community lie we gonna tell about this chimney thing?
maybe they all got together. I don't know what they did, but it wasn't a chimney nowhere in that neighborhood. Maybe it was some in that neighborhood over, but it wasn't none in that one. So they had to have specialized in the hood for this idol. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 5. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many, and lords many.
Right. And if Santa Claus was not a god, what was he? He can be in all places at the same time. He can transform himself into any shape, fashion, or form. He knows whether you've been good or bad, so be good for goodness sake. He knows all them things. Who know all that but a God? Then he got magical animals that carry him. Who has magical animals? Yahweh. Yahweh got beasts that's surround the throne. All right? Then he got little helpers. What are the elves? They supposed to be his angels. Is he not a God? We have been taught to worship false gods. And then people get mad at you when you tell the truth. Go ahead.
But to us there's but one Elohim.
Okay. And we all have gotten to that point. Okay. We know this ain't real. But what do you do after that? Go ahead.
The Father of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. Howbeit, there's not in every man that knowledge. For some with conscience of the idol, unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled.
Okay, so if somebody invite us to a Christmas party, we know Santa Claus ain't real. We know the idol that they getting ready to worship. We know it ain't real. But how do you handle that? Go ahead.
But meat commendeth us not to Elohim. For neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse. But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
So it is a liberty of yours because you have understanding. You can now decide whether or not you want to deal with this, that, or whatever. Because you are not taken by the idol situation. I know that ain't real. But what happens if other people see me partaking in that? Do they now, because they may not have the understanding that I have. Now, has my understanding murdered him? Go ahead.
For if any man see you, which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak by emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? And through your knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom the Mashiach died.
Now, listen, this is where it gets interesting. Now, you have the liberty because you have understanding. But when a weak brother is then harmed by your liberty, look at what it does to you. Go ahead.
But when you sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, you sin against the Mashiach.
Hold on, pause. You just sinned against the Mashiach by wounding the weaker brother. What's the old saying? Am I not my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? Wait a minute. You say, I have understanding. I'm not limited. But are you not limited when your brother is concerned? Because once you allow something to happen, now you have sinned against the Mashiach. See, this is where a lot of us are going to have a problem come that judgment day. When Yahshua says, you did this to me. And y'all know us, the first thing we do, self-preservation kicks in sometimes before an accusation is even finished. We ain't even listen to what somebody say we did. Hey, brother, you did. No, I didn't. You don't even know what I'm talking about. Brother, I was about to say, no, I didn't. Brother, you're not even letting me talk. Brother, you made that sandwich that was really nice. Oh, yeah, okay, I did that. I did that. I thought I was going to take blame, and I don't like blame. I don't like it at all. So when I just automatically, I go somewhere. Right. Go ahead.
Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world stands, lest I make my brother to offend.
Now, I'm not going to change what I do in my own personal home. I'm going to change what I do in the presence of weaker individuals, that they are not harmed by the liberty that I know I have by the understanding that's been granted unto me. So that means everything that you may have the understanding to do doesn't mean that need to be done out in public. Let's go to Matthew chapter 17. Matthew chapter 17, and we're going to read verses 24 through 27.
And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Cephas and said, does not your master pay tribute?
Now, this is a big situation here, because what happens is, this is how the other people of Israel tried to cause a schism between Yahshua and Roman rulers saying, hey, these people don't want to pay the tax. Go ahead.
He says, yes. And when he was coming to the house, Yahshua prevented him, saying, what think you, Simeon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? Cephas says unto him, of strangers. Yahshua says unto him, then are the children free? Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them.
Then are the children free. So if you stop right there, Yahshua's like, we don't need to pay tribute. This is our land. We don't need to pay tribute. Notwithstanding, go ahead.
Lest we should offend them, go you to the sea and cast in the hook, and take up the fish that first come up. And when you have opened his mouth, you shall find a piece of money. That take and give unto them for me and you.
So let's go ahead and pay this temple tax, even though we are free. But that we stay away from the appearance of sin, we're going to go ahead and pay this tax. So go ahead and go get this money for the both of us. But he automatically said, we ain't supposed to be paying that. So then there's some points where we might have to suffer wrong. Even though we know we're right. Yahshua said, no, I know we're right. But go ahead and get this money. But we right though. Let's go to Numbers chapter 14. And that is a serious place of humbling that we have to deal with. When you know you're right, you can prove you're right, but you can still suffer wrong. That is a place of humbling. And a lot of us can do things, when it's right to do. Okay, I need to pay you, I pay you. But when it get down to something and we feel like we're right, go and get ready for Armageddon. Go and pull out the tanks, pull out the spaceships, the nuclear weapons, pull out everything. We about to go to war up in here because I'm right and I know I'm right and I feel that I'm right. I feel rightness. I like the way rightness feel when it flows through my veins. We're going to fight. He said, I know we're right. But go ahead and pay it. Numbers 14, and let's read verses 13 through 19.
And Moshe said unto Yahweh, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for you brought up this people in your might from among them.
Now, we're at the point now where Yahweh is so angry with the children of Israel that he's ready to throw away his promise to do all of these things with Israel, cut them off, and bring a whole new generation through Moshe. He's ready to just be done with it. Now, he's going to convince Yahweh about the appearance of how that's going to look. Go ahead.
And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that you Yahweh, are among this people, that you, Yahweh, are seen face to face, and that your cloud stands over them, and that you goeth before them by daytime in a pillar of a cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. Now, if you shall kill all this people...
because you, by your presence, see, this is something that people have to understand. By your presence, you have justified these people. Now, I need you to sit your mind there for a second. By your presence, what people have you justified? Hold on. I need you just rattle this one around. Rattle us around for a second. Before you go to all the other stuff, I need you to just be right here for a second. He said, they know that you have been among them by the cloud, by the fire, by all of these things, that you are with these people. You have justified them with your presence. So be careful what you do after this. Because you done already justified those people. You justified them by staying near them. Now ask yourself a question. Who have you justified by your presence? Read, brother.
Now, if you shall kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of you will speak, saying,
Now, because you done already justified them by your presence. Now, what you do is now going to take away from your glory that you put on them by even being there. Go ahead.
Because Yahweh was not able to bring this people into the land which he sware unto them, therefore he has slain them in the wilderness. And now, I beseech you, let the power of my Adonai be great, according as you have spoken, saying, Yahweh is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving lawlessness and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the lawlessness of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Pardon, I beseech you, the lawlessness of this people, according unto the greatness of your mercy, and as you have forgiven this people from Egypt even until now.
So then he has to convince Yahweh that the appearance of this is not going to look good. I understand your reasoning. I know you know that you justified in killing every last one. We know that. But what are the optics in this? How's this going to look? You have justified them with your presence. You have said thus and thus. If you do it now, it makes you look a certain way. They won't go back and reflect upon that these people are disobedient. It's going to look like you didn't have the power to perform that which has been uttered out of your mouth, Yahweh. So there's certain points where Yahweh, you know what? Okay. But I'm going to get them ones who went over there. All right. Ain't none of them going in. I'm getting some of, look here. This whole generation dying off right here. All right. I got you. I got you, Moshe. All right. You right. But I tell you what. Y'all gonna sit out here and you gonna pay for this one. But I hear you. He was able to convince Yahweh this ain't gonna look good. Did Yahweh not have the power to do what? He could have done whatever he wanted to do. But even Yahweh has to consider the appearance of something. Was he right? Yeah, he was right. Look how many times Israel disobeyed. Was he not justified? Yes, he was. But the appearance of it would look another way. So he held back. Now, as it is written, Colossians chapter 3 and verse 21 says, Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. When you look at how Yahweh deals with things, you have to consider what actions Yahweh would have taken and what it would have done to the children. So Yahweh makes this happen in such a way that he's able to deal with something but still keep his promise. And a lot of times we get into a situation where we get angry and we keep nothing. So Yahweh said, all right, I'm going to deal with this, but I'm going to arrange this in such a way that I'm still going to keep my covenant, but your children going to inherit the promises that I made to you because you are not worthy. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12.
$13.02.
All right, appreciate it. Hebrews chapter 12, and we're going to read verses 1 through 11.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your minds. You have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin.
Hold on, brother. Whoever we got at that door, tell them to lock that door and come on in here. Go ahead, bro.
And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaks unto you as unto children. My son, despise not you the chastening of the Adonai.
Despise not you the chastening of the Adonai. Because Yahweh is going to discipline his children. Now, people who are not accustomed to being disciplined, they believe any kind of discipline is provoking the children unto wrath. No, if you don't have any kind of discipline, you provoking that child unto wrath. Because the first time the world get ready to deal with him, he gonna think everything is unfair. All this, all that. Where did you get that fake fairness from? Just like when we let these people watch, let the little girls watch the little Disney princess shows, and then I'm gonna be a princess. Hey, you need to. It's a nice show, nice show. Just understand that there's some reality. So you let them watch the show, but you got to explain. Look, frogs don't turn into princes. You kiss a frog, you just gonna have slimy lips. I'm telling you now. Understand that. You know what I'm saying? It need to be a conversation after the princess show. I ain't got no problem with the princess show. I love a good princess show. All right? Love it. I watch cartoons with my kids. I love it. Absolutely love it. But then there's a conversation that happens right after that. There's a conversation. You know, go call me dreamkiller.com. Look here. It's a conversation. Come on, sit down there. Come on, let's have a conversation. That was really nice, but I want to bring you back to this. Let's rewind. I say right there. You see this right there? Yeah. Let me go ahead and explain this right here. Let me explain something. Go ahead, bro.
Nor faint when you are rebuked of him.
And why would you faint? Because you are not accustomed to correction. See? This is the difference between when a father instructs his boy and the mama sing to him. Baby, will you please take out the trash? Ain't no man gonna ask you to take out the trash like that. If he does, he ain't no man. There's something seriously wrong with that man. Ain't no man gonna ask you that. So then when a man says, I felt offended, Dad. I don't know, the way you asked me to do it. Oh, what you wanted me to do? Sing it? That's what you want me to do? Boy, you don't get that trash out of here. I swear, boy, when the lip get tight, boy, my butt, boy, the little boy. Nobody finna sing to you. And you ain't doing nothing but setting them up for a future hurt later on. When another man gives them some instructions, and they're like, well, he sounded too manly. Yeah, I know what you done got used to. I know what you done got. You got used to mama instructions, huh? Yeah, she sung it to you, didn't she? Ain't no lullabies when you clock in, bro. Ain't nobody singing to you at work. This your job. This is what you agreed to do. This is what you getting paid to do. Hey, I'm gonna need you to go do such and such. Ain't nobody singing it to you. Go ahead.
That also caused detriment for other people. I got this boy in the room here. I remember when he was in school, he always had problems in certain classrooms. And I started realizing that he never had problems in the men teachers class. Mm-hmm. He always had problem with his women teachers. And that blame go back to mommy. Mm-hmm. He could have his way, talk to her any kind of way, and he went to school and the women teachers felt that same disrespect.
Right. Mine was the opposite. He didn't like nothing but the women teachers. That's a whole nother subject. That is not the topic of this class. I tell you. Read, brother. You go ahead.
Verse 6, for whom the Adonai loves, he chastises, and scourgeth every son whom he receives. If you endure chastening, Elohim deals with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?
If he does not chastise you, you are not his. And then here it is, we have problems with the chastisement. We have problems when something is said to us. We have problems when we are corrected. You are setting yourself up to be a son of the adversary of the devil then. That's what life is like with no correction. You just do whatever you want to do. And the adversary of the devil is cool with that. Yahweh's not. Go ahead.
But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are you bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have fathers of our flesh which correct us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
Right. The chastening for the present doesn't seem joyous. But when you get to a point and you go out in the world and you run into those who have not been chastised, you see, man, my folks really did me a solid. You watch them people and you're like, oh, they gonna really get themselves yoked up. When folks are just allowed to talk to grown-ups, like he said, any old kind of way, and they go out in the world and they talk, sooner or later, they're going to run into the right one, and it's going to throw them. When they run off at the mouth and then they get hit in it. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's wrong with you? I can't believe they hit me in my mouth. Your folks should have hit you in your mouth a long time ago. This would not have been an eye-opening experience for you. You should have known that you were gonna get hit in the mouth when you kept running it. You should have expected that. But you can tell when a grown man get hit in the mouth, and he never got hit in the mouth for running off at the mouth. You know, he's bewildered. Even the hit didn't knock him out. The hit just shocked him. It was, pow! Ah! What is wrong with you, man? You ain't never been hit in the mouth, eh? Your folks did you a grave injustice by letting you talk. And our generation, you didn't even come and talk when grown folk were talking. You didn't even, when grown folk talking, that automatically, it was a silent, shut up, boy. Didn't you hear her talking? You don't just, this is a different generation. They think they should be included in the grown-up conversation. They just jump in it. Grown-up conversation come on. So what you said Rosemary did, say it again, I slapped it. It's a different generation. Why? We stopped hitting them in the mouth. That's how the generation, we got hit in the mouth, and then we said, well, I ain't gonna do that so much to my kids. And we thought we was helping them. You find out, no, you didn't help them at all. Go ahead, bro.
That was it.
That was it right there. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. I want to read some things because as we deal with these things about the chastisement of the father, we have to deal with what, the honor that comes upon an aged man. A lot of times, people say, this is my father. And, we have to really get into the definition of what a a real daddy is. Anybody can lay with a woman and produce a child. That don't make you a daddy or a father. You were a donor that you gave, some DNA to help produce a body. But when you talk about doing all of the things that are supposed to be done within the child's life, that's what makes you a daddy or a father. And when you suffer loss for the care of other individuals, you have to look at something, and I guess certain people haven't had to deal with this. I grew up with a stepfather. When you look at who Joseph was, he was a stepfather. He didn't father that child, but he did everything that was needed to be done for Yahshua. That was not his child. We have been corrupted in our mindsets that we will only take care of a child as long as we are still connected to the mother of the child. Once we separate from the mother, the care of the child somehow goes to be the responsibility of the new man that she dated. That ain't his child. That's your child. That's your responsibility, not his, whoever he is. And he might change 4 or 5 times. She might have another he next month. And another he too much from there. So who taking care of he? Who? That's your job. But Yosef took on the job and he didn't have any of the connection there. He was obedient, took care of everything, moved. How many of y'all moved for your stepchild? Look, somebody finna harm, the child. They thinking about harming, I need you to move. Man, I just decorated this place. We got to move. Read Leviticus 19, brother. Go ahead.
The funny thing is, and we were talking about this, I think it was last week when we were talking about, even we're reading the book so we see a different perspective. Mm-hmm. But nobody knew that was not his child.
Right.
That's my stepson. That's her boy.
Right.
Bro, if you step into that role, that's your role. You his father. Stop trying to put it off. Do the best you can. Up until his dying day, they referred to him in this Joseph's boy.
Right. Right.
Whose brother and sisters we know. So if there was some kind of ism and schism going on, then everybody would know.
Let me tell you something, bro. If they thought that was his stepson, they would have stepped on the mama. You understand? She would have been killed, right? What do you mean that ain't his real dad? Oh, you about to die. You about to die. Y'all get the rocks. Get the rocks. No, the big. Get the skinny ones at the end that's sharp right there, cause I want to cut. No, man. If they'd have known that he wasn't the daddy, they would have stoned her to death. He was righteous in even saying, "Look, I'm just gonna put you away privately. I'm not gonna make a big fuss. It hurt." Then Yahweh got to, hey man, don't put her away. What she's saying is right. She ain't been with no man. This is of me. Hey, he was done. But even before that, he was still handling it righteously. So he right. He could the word stepdad or something that could never have came out his mouth. If it does, she in question, Jack. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 32. You shall rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear your Elohim. I am Yahweh.
So this is one of the things that when you talk about even the appearance of evil and just how things would happen generations before, where the older people walk in the room, the younger people stand up and greet them. You don't see any of that happening anymore. But then again, it's hard to figure out who is old, cause y'all seen that video where the dude came in, he was an old man, and then I'm talking about he bald and gray. By the time they was done, he had a head full of hair. They had done did that makeover where they paint the hair on. They done paint. I mean, he went to the paint shop. They done painted hair all on the ball. They done dyed all the gray jet black. And I mean, he manicured. He looked like Steve Harvey when he had the box cut. Boy, I mean, everything, there's not a one hair out of place. Now, if it rained, he might have had hell. All right? But some sister thought she was getting a 30-year-old, and in the morning, a 65-year-old cat was going to come out the bathroom. Who the hell are you? I mean, it was... So, if somebody don't treat this guy with respect, he ain't got nobody to blame but himself. I mean, this hair was blacker than used oil. Everything just black. They done blacked out the beard. They done blacked out the hair and then painted more hair on it. I said, how you paint? He done said this thing took hours for him to go ahead and paint this hair on his head. And I mean, you could not tell that this was not real hair. It used to be a thing where you used to talk about, the sisters with this and that. Sisters better go around, the dude in the video said, sisters need to walk around with a spray bottle. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just, hey, how you doing? Shh, you know what I'm saying? Just see that brother start running. No, that ain't real like that, brother. And just go ahead and squirt a brother right off the rip and see what you're dealing with. You know? He done put all the gray gone. Ain't no gray nowhere. So we don't want to be honored as a hoary head. We try to take all that away. Go ahead, brother. I want you to read the next one. Let's go to the next graphic.
Was that Proverbs?
Proverbs, yep.
Proverbs 16:31. The hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness.
Now, there's a certain amount of glory that comes from the hoary head. But now, there's a part of, hey, it has to also conduct itself like an aged individual. Okay? You must conduct yourself in a manner that shows your spiritual growth. And sometimes Yahweh will allow some things to happen to you. Some things where you would normally say, by now, I would have stumped off a real hole in this person's face. Yahweh allowed that to happen so you can see, you know what? He has caused me to grow. Go to the next one.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 29. The glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the gray head.
Right, the gray head that we don't want. So we're getting rid of that because the commercials tell us that we're supposed to get rid of it. So we didn't end up getting rid of the very things that's supposed to show honor. Go ahead.
Just to touch on that this statement right here. And this reflects in the modeling agency for men. The older a man is within the modeling agency tends to get more money than the younger brothers. It's vice versa for the women.
Interesting.
Yep.
Go to the next one.
Job chapter 32, verses 6 through 7. And Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young, and you are very old.
Okay, so when it came down to answering this, he didn't want to deal with this situation. Keep going.
Wherefore I was afraid, and durst not show you mine opinion.
I didn't want to show you mine opinion. Why? Go ahead.
I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom.
Multitude of years should teach wisdom. He said, look, I don't want to show you my opinion because I'm young and you are an aged man. I didn't want to be disrespectful, and this would appear to be disrespectful as I am giving a aged, wise man my opinion, so I held back on that. Let's go to Titus chapter 2. But we have to also keep into consideration now. It says, the gray head is a thing of honor. If we're not gonna just turn around and bow down to an old fool because he old.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do this because you old, but that's foolish.
No, we're not gonna do that. Titus chapter 2, and we're gonna start that at verse 1.
But speak you the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in love, in patience.
Right. So then there's a certain way that an aged man is supposed to carry himself. It says, but speak you the things which become sound doctrine. All right? You an aged man, you know, you ain't thrown by every little thing you find on the internet now, are you? Now that little boy stuff, they're still dealing with you? You still getting caught up?
Man, I was on the internet the other day, man. I heard they got purple angels and everything.
Man, what? Everything on the internet get you? And you supposed to be a grown man? Come on, man, that little kid stuff. That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate. You a grown man? You supposed to know what your drink limit is.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you supposed to be done figured out by now. You don't think that's something the little boys do. The young girls do. They start drinking, and then when they feel something, they say, you know, I'm gonna stop now. It's too late. You stopping now. See, you supposed to know, pace yourself. You see, that last cup ain't even got in there yet. That last cup ain't even went to work. So if you stopping now, oh, you about to stagger on the way out of here. Go ahead.
The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine.
They didn't say they couldn't drink wine. Not given to much wine. So that you can stay on your P's and Q's. But see, that's the difference between when it talked about Noah getting drunk in his tent. Hey, that was his tent. See, you got to know the difference between how you going to operate outside your house and how you going to operate in your house. Go ahead.
Teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children.
Right. And you can't teach the women something that you ain't doing.
You can't tell them you should love your husband.
And then you throw plates at yours. How the hell you gonna tell me to love my husband? And I just seen your husband running down Flat Shoals Avenue and you were throwing plates behind him. How you gonna teach you? I hope that ain't what you teaching me. Go ahead.
To be discreet,
Chaste,
keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands.
The best way to teach that is to do that. You can read all the stuff you're going to read, but you can't teach what you can't do. Go ahead.
That the word of Elohim be not blasphemed.
That the word of Elohim be not blasphemed. So check this out. We can be blaspheming the word by people saying, okay, you understand such and such. But look at how you dealing with this. Now the word of Yahweh has gotten blasphemed because of how you dealt with something in the presence of somebody else. And see, the adversary, the devil, loves to nick at us here and there, waiting for us to lash out. So then he can go right. That's why he's the great accuser. Because he don't make you do nothing. He just agitates you. Then once you do it, he the first one. Yahweh, you sleep? Yahweh, you ain't gonna believe what I just heard. Yeah. Yeah, you remember old boy you were talking about? Uh-huh. Wait till you hear this. Right, he can't wait to tell on you. He provoke you, and he the first one to snitch. I mean, he got an open line here, snitch.com. He can't wait to go and tell on you. Now, he provokes you though, but he didn't make you. You made the decision yourself. You made the decision yourself. Go ahead, brother.
Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Uh-huh.
In all things showing yourself a pattern of good works. In doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. Exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again.
This talking about at your job. Now, of course, they would love to, to read that, to the slave.
Now, slaves, obey your masters now. You said, now, it's holy if you just obey us.
So we don't even like to go past nothing like that. But this is talking about your jobs. Go ahead.
Not purloining, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of Elohim our Savior in all things.
But consider, how do you operate on a job and the people know that you are a Hebrew? They know that you practice this Messianic Judaism. And then they say, well, dang, look at how you're operating in here. So I guess they just practice holiness on the Sabbath. Go ahead.
For the grace of Elohim that brings salvation has appeared to all men, teaching us that, denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world, looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great Elohim and our Savior Yahshua HaMashiach, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from all lawlessness and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works.
Mm-hmm.
These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise you.
All right, let's go to Numbers chapter 4. Numbers chapter 4, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, Take the sum of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi, after their families, by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, all that enter into the host, to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation.
So then you have this order that they can come in and do the service of the tabernacle from 30 to 50. This is where we get our whole setup of retirement. This is where they got that from. So when you talk about Yahshua getting his baptism, there was a reason why he didn't get that baptism until 30, because he had to be 30 to come near unto the tabernacle to do service. So, people want to show you, when we was ignorant and into idols, you had all kind of, you had baby Jesus, you had teenage Jesus, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You had puberty Jesus, you know what I'm saying? You had, young, cool, hang out the club Jesus, then you got Savior Jesus. So you had a couple of Jesuses, you know what I'm saying? You had a couple of them. But right here, the reason why the story starts at this point, because he has to be of a certain age before he can even work in the temple. And those are things, when you don't put that part of the law together, you don't even understand the time frame of his baptism. You just think, he just figured out, you know what? I ain't doing nothing today. I'm not going to get baptized. You don't even understand. There's some timing involved in this. Go ahead.
This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. And when the camp sets forward, Aaron shall come and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil and cover the ark of testimony with it, and shall put thereon the covering of badger skins, and shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the staves thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And upon the table of the showbread they shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, and the spoons, and the bowls, and covers to cover withal, and the continual bread shall be thereon.
The continual bread shall be thereon. See, a lot of people don't understand that they had to have this bread. This bread was cooked hot on the Sabbath day. Then you have people who show up with whatever internet doctrine they done got, and they show up here with cold cuts.
I won't have anything, cooked, what I'm saying, because, you're not supposed to set a fire on the Sabbath day.
But let me ask you a question. How the hell they get this hot bread then? How they get the hot bread? You think they had a microwave in the temple? You think maybe they microwaved the bread? How you think they got that hot bread? See, they not taking into consideration that this was for them working. No. This is hot bread. And they must have it. How you think they got it? But I let them people do their thing. They come in with their sandwich, and they want to eat, they Oscar Mayer got a name. Go ahead. You can have you and Oscar, you go ahead. But I'm gonna have me some of these greens. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have me a real meal. I want it smoking. I like my plate to smoke when I get. I want to see the smoke come right off. Yeah. When they bring it to me, I'm like, take that back. That's not hot enough. I want to see the smoke. I'm the kind of dude who eat right off the grill, and you put it in your mouth, and you just have to throw it around. It's so hot, because you leave it in one place, you burn your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Just throw it around until you can swallow it. Yeah, I'm one of them. I come from that place. All right. So no, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? You won't catch me with the cold cuts. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 8. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with a covering of badger skins, and shall put in the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlestick of the light, and his lamps, and his tongs, and his snuff dishes, and all the oil vessels thereof, wherewith they minister unto it. And they shall put it, and all the vessels thereof, within a covering of badger skins, and shall put it upon a bar.
Now, a lot of times we look at things and we just see, okay, these are priests. Priests, this order was given by families, and they had specific duties. And they had to do the duties that were given unto them. They couldn't do the other duties. That was not given unto them. So this is order here. They have to conduct themselves in the business that was given unto them. Go ahead.
And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue, and cover it with a covering of badger skins, and shall put to the staves thereof.
Now understand, that close proximity to the altar doing all of this, everybody can't do that. You can't just say, hey bro, you a priest, go over here and do such and such. Oh no, that ain't my lot. I haven't been given the authority to do that, brother. I can't do that. Now I can do this, but I can't do that. Go ahead.
When you look at this, you should be able to walk in and tell if somebody did their job right. Why the hell is there a red cover on top of the altar?
Mm-hmm. And you look right on the side of the room. Everybody looking at this one group. We knew y'all. If he didn't do it, then he should have did it. If he didn't do it, then he should have did it. Because we know whose job that is. Go ahead.
And they shall take all the instruments of ministry, wherewith they minister in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of badger skin, and shall put them on a bar. And they shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth thereon. And they shall put upon it all the vessels thereof, wherewith they minister about it, even the censers, the flesh hooks, and the shovels, and the basins, all the vessels of the altar. And they shall spread upon it a covering of badger skins, and put to the staves of it. And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary, and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is to set forward, after that the sons of Kohath shall come to bear it. But they shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation.
So when it says that these things are the burden of the sons, this is their job. These are the things that they are allowed to do. Everybody can't just go and do everything. Go ahead.
And to the office of Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest pertaineth the oil for the light, and the sweet incense, and the daily meat offering, and the anointing oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, and of all that therein is, and the sanctuary, and in the vessels thereof.
So then now you see a different set of authority when it comes down to the next brother. And then that's going to follow down to his family. This is what makes some of the setup of other things so foul. When you have this so-called thing of the Catholic priesthood, and the Catholic priest is supposed to not be married. The priesthood job was handed down to sons. How you gonna have a son if you're not allowed to marry? The entire Catholic priesthood is a farce. It makes absolutely no sense. This job was handed down from father to son, to son, to son, to son, to son. Now all of a sudden, after they done killed off everybody, they just appear as priests and they just get assigned. But they can't have sons unless they had them before. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, Cut you not off the tribe of the families of the Kohathites from among the Levites, but thus do unto them, that they may live and not die. When they approach unto the most holy things, Aaron and his sons shall go in, and appoint them every one to his service and to his burden. But they shall not go in to see when the holy things are covered, lest they die. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Take also the sum of the sons of Gershon, throughout the houses of their fathers by their families. From 30 years old and upward until 50 years old shall you number them, all that enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. This is the service of the families of the Gershonites, to serve and for burdens. And they shall bear the curtains of the tabernacle, and the tabernacle of the congregation, his covering, and the covering of the badger skins that is above upon it, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
All right, that's as far as I want to go right there. I want to make sure that we cover the things that were given unto Kohath. All right, now let's go to Numbers chapter 7, and we're going to start that at verse 1. So you have this job to come in close and deal with the covering of all of these things on the altar. So this is their job. So then as other things start to happen, this is when some decisions should be made. Numbers chapter 7, and let's read verses 1 through 17.
And it came to pass on the day that Moshe had fully set up the tabernacle, and had anointed it, and sanctified it, and all the instruments thereof, both the altar and all the vessels thereof, and had anointed them and sanctified them, that the princes of Israel, heads of the houses of their fathers, who were the princes of the tribes, and were over them that were numbered, offered. And they brought their offering before Yahweh, 6 covered wagons, and 12 oxen, a wagon for 2 of the princes, and for each one an ox. And they brought them before the tabernacle. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Take it of them, that they may be to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. And you shall give them unto the Levites, to every man according to his service. And Moshe took the wagons and the oxen, and gave them unto the Levites. 2 wagons and 4 oxen he gave unto the sons of Gershon, according to their service. And 4 wagons and 8 oxen he gave unto the sons of Merari, according unto their service, under the hand of Ithamar the son of Aaron the priest.
Right, according as they're going to need for their jobs, right? Go ahead.
But unto the sons of Kohath he gave none.
Okay.
Because the service of the sanctuary belonging unto them was that they should bear upon their shoulders.
Right, so they don't need these other things, because they're going to be dealing with a different thing. Go ahead.
And the princes offered for dedicating of the altar in that day that it was anointed. Even the princes offered their offering before the altar. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, They shall offer their offering, each prince on his day, for the dedicating of the altar. And he that offered his offering the first day was Nashon the son of Abinadab, of the tribe of Yehudah. And his offering was 1 silver charger, the weight thereof was 130 shekels, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. Both of them were full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. And for a service of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Nashon, the son of Amminadab.
Now, one of the things that we have, if you keep reading, you're going to go past this silver charger that's going to be in each one of those things. So we're gonna go and get something else right here. Let's go to Numbers chapter 12, and then we're gonna get back to the situation of these chargers that was offered, and it was in righteousness. But let's go to Numbers chapter 12.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman.
Right. So they are upset. Miriam is obviously leading this thing, but if you go back and read before, you find out where Miriam is leading the women. So with Miriam leading the women, there's a lot of influence going on in the households with these things that are being said. Go ahead.
And they said, Has Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moshe? Has he not spoken also by us?
Now, they was angry about the Ethiopian woman that he had married. But the next thing that comes out of their mouth is, has Yahweh spoken only by Moshe? So being angry with him was one thing, because they didn't like some personal decision that he made. But what they are doing now is questioning whether or not he is chosen of Yahweh. Now they are blaspheming against the Holy Spirit. They didn't even actually mention what they were really angry. They angry about one thing, but they let their mouths say some other things. This is where they end up blaspheming against the Holy Spirit. Yahweh not just dealing, okay, yeah, you talk about him, yeah, sticks and stones. But no. What you are doing is blaspheming against the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit got a job to do and is using him to do it. Now we got a problem. Because this talk didn't just stay right here. And we're going to find that out. Go ahead.
And Yahweh heard it. Now the man Moshe was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Right. But see, you don't know that if you don't sit down and consider all of the changes that Yahweh has made in his life. All of the things that he has had to curve his wants, wishes, and desires to deal with what Yahweh was leading him to do. You don't really know that. You don't see that. You just see whatever you see. Like they saw the Ethiopian woman. Well, he had already had the woman that he married, the Zipporah. So they just saw that. They don't see what he went through and the changes that he suffered. They see what they see on the outside. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moshe and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, Come out, you three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I Yahweh will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moshe is not so, who is faithful in all my house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the multitude of Yahweh shall he behold. Wherefore then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe?
Right. So he's not just a prophet. He's greater than a prophet. He is the foreshadowing of Yahshua. Being able to have spoken and had the Spirit face to face deal with him. I mean, he dealt with the Spirit in such a way that he started changing. He started changing into a God by being near a God. Go ahead.
And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
Okay. Verse 10. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. Why did the cloud leave?
Uncleanness was about to be present.
Wait a minute. What was said? One of the things that we read in the beginning. What he said? You have justified these people by your presence, by your cloud, by your fire. So what happened? This is your presence. So what happened when they did something that was out of order? The cloud left. So you know what? I'm not dealing with y'all right now. See, you can do something and cause the Spirit to walk away from you. And you know what? You running off at the mouth. You know what? Hit her with a little bit of this leprosy so she understands some things. But I'm not going to be amongst none of y'all while this is going on. We don't even consider that. We be like, oh, that's them. Oh, no. You didn't deal with it. That's you. See, the Spirit just didn't leave her. No, you don't understand. No, the Spirit steps away from the whole house. You stood there and let it happen. You just as guilty. So you have to wonder, how many people were having this conversation? How much was this talk going on? And see, we have a bigger problem because we got texts and we can talk from the house. See, at least they can see him. Hey, what they over there doing behind that tree over there? Oh no, everybody nowadays we can say a multitude of words and ain't nobody even left. We send them messages back and forth. Go ahead.
And Aaron said unto Moshe, Alas, my master, I beseech you, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he comes out of his mother's womb. And Moshe cried unto Yahweh.
Now you see, if you pay attention to the order, Aaron said unto Moshe, My master, I beseech you, lay not the sin. He knew not to even go to Yahweh. You done got yourself off into some mess. He had to go to Moshe so Moshe could go to Yahweh. How many of us consider that? That when you get yourself off in some mess, you done separated yourself from Yahweh. You might need to go talk to your brother. You might need to go talk to your sister. He ain't gonna hear you because of the mess you done got yourself into. But see, we got so much pride, we ain't gonna talk.
Well, I don't want to talk to them because then they're gonna know I got some issues.
We know you got some issues when you walk through the door. Everybody got some issues. But see, we're gonna keep that under wraps. That's why the issue's still there. See, you done some things that he ain't gonna hear you. But he might hear that person sitting 2 seats from you. Have you told them your issue? Why you think it says, confess your faults one to another?
No, I'm not gonna do that. No, I like the Catholic way. You just go in there and there wasn't nobody in there but the man, and then he don't even see you. You just forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Who are you? I don't want to tell you. It's a secret confession.
Right. Go ahead.
And Moshe cried unto Yahweh, saying, Heal her now, O Elohim, I beseech you. And Yahweh said unto Moshe,
Yahweh talking to Moshe. He ain't talking to Aaron. Aaron had to ask Moshe. He knew. He might have got hit with leprosy had he tried to talk to Yahweh.
Oh, Yahweh, please, hit him.
2 times. He had sense enough. See, we don't have sense enough to know when we done got ourselves into something. Shut up. Don't try to talk to him. He had sense enough to know. I'm going to talk to Moshe. You talk to him for me. Go ahead.
If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again.
I just need to prove a point. I ain't trying to kill her. But a point need to be made right now. See? Because this talk is infectious. You see? This talk go from person to person real quick. Go ahead.
Like you said, she had an influence with the other women. So
she had a very deep influence with them women.
They need to see you out
right.
there.
They need to see you outside. Just keep looking.
How many more days we got till she come in?
No. He made a point. He wasn't trying to kill her. No, man. If her father had been spit in her face, no. I'm not going to forgive this right away. She got to deal with this. And you'll understand why. Go ahead.
And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterward the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in. They couldn't go nowhere. The cloud left. Where they were going to go? See, that's the point Yahweh is making. Once he starts dealing, no. Y'all all responsible for one another.
Well, you know, they didn't have nothing to do with me.
See, that's why Yahweh had to get rid of them. They ain't got nothing to do with me, people. You notice Yahweh run them kind of,
you know, they didn't have nothing to do with my family, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Y'all realize all them people gone? See, when Miriam did this, the cloud left. Miriam didn't have no personal cloud.
It wasn't like the cloud left Miriam. Did anybody read that? Cloud left Miriam. He said, you know, Miriam, you get no cloud. Everybody else gets your little personal cloud.
No, when he started dealing with you, he dealing with the whole house. And them, it didn't have nothing to do with me, people. He makes sure he get rid of them. Because they're going to cause a problem with his whole house. Let's go to Numbers chapter 16. And we're going to start that at verse 1.
Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi.
Now, it's giving you the breakdown. Korah, and a lot of times even when we read this, you know, we would go by and not deal with the lineage of the breakdown of the sons of Kohath and the job that they have. All right? They wasn't even given oxen because they were going to deal close in on the altar, and they bear the ark. So understand the authority that they have. Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi. Go ahead.
And Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moshe with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown.
So they had gathered together a large company to go against Moshe. That let you know the previous situation that Miriam's statement has Elohim spoken only by Moshe. It lets you know why Yahweh dealt with that in that manner. The talk kept going. That's why my elder used to say, no, let something go on long enough so you can get all the sympathizers, and that way you can get rid of all of them at one time. This thing is still going because now he has gathered a large company of individuals. And listen to the words that come out of their mouth. Go ahead.
And they gathered themselves together against Moshe and against Aaron, and said unto them, you take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy.
Stop. The same words that Miriam spoke before. All right? Miriam spoke that in chapter 12. Here we go at chapter 16, and we got 250 men of purpose here. We got 250 people who got a position. Renowned men. This thing has multiplied. That little conversation that you see where it said, come out, you three. He said, man, why y'all always jumping off in they stuff like that, man? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they angry about, y'all were angry about that? She said, have Elohim only spoken by Moshe? Has he not spoken by all us? That's the same comment. We all holy. But look at what happened. This is how you hear little bits of things and people don't understand why some people had to get showed the door. Because you find one thing was said here, then it was said over here. Next thing you know, you got a whole group of people saying those things, and then it gets out of hand. Next thing you know, you hear false doctrine coming from behind the altar. Where the hell that come from? That came from that little bitty wrong thing that was put out and spread abroad. Now, the erroneous doctrine is now come near the altar. But it started with the woman. It started with the woman talking. Now you got men carrying on from the conversations of their wives. Now their wives' talk has hit the altar. Understand, who is Kohath? They minister near the altar. Understand who Korah is. He's from the family of Kohath. Now, the talk that came from the woman is now at the altar. Keep reading.
I didn't even realize that we just did this. They done brought the sons of Reuben in on this.
Hey, brother. Hey, let me tell you something. Once something catch fire, man, you don't know where the fire gonna go. Oh no, this hot topic right here. Go ahead.
You take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy.
All the congregation are holy. See? And they done had this conversation over and over. You don't gather 250 people without having this conversation over and over. And see, some people will look at the situation with Miriam and say, it was a punishment. Other people look at that in their own kind of way. So I know some folks that done had some grave things happen to them, and because Yahweh didn't kill them,
They say, yeah, see, I survived those things. See, so Yahweh, he okayed what I did.
that what you think? That what you think? They don't even see, hey man, he giving you an opportunity to come out of that mess. But because they didn't die, they didn't count it as some kind of badge of honor. So Yahweh wasn't trying to kill Miriam. But how many people can now say, shoot,
Miriam was able to withstand the punishment of Yahweh.
How many people now listen to her more after that situation? Go ahead, bro.
Every one of them. And Yahweh is among them.
Yahweh is among them, every one of them. Not everybody holy. Now Moshe ain't nobody special. Go ahead.
Wherefore then lift you up yourselves above the congregation of Yahweh. And when Moshe heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow Yahweh will show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even him whom he has chosen will he cause to come near unto him.
Now, it was already their job to come near unto him. So you got to understand the talk that Moshe, if you don't understand their job, certain verses in here don't make sense. Go ahead.
This do. Take you census, Korah and all his company.
Wait a minute. They remember now, we already, this is stuff that they do. All right, go ahead.
And put fire therein, and put incense in them before Yahweh tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom Yahweh does choose, he shall be holy. You take too much upon you, you sons of Levi. And Moshe said unto Korah, hear, I pray you, you sons of Levi. Seemeth it but a small thing unto you that the Elohim of Israel has separated you from the congregation of
Listen.
Israel
Uh-huh.
to bring you near to himself to do the service of the tabernacle of Yahweh and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them?
You think it's a light thing that he let you come near this altar? And this is how you deal with it? Understand the job of the family of Kohath. But ain't it the ones that's closest to the altar who end up having the most disdain for it? Who was supposed to be the covering at the mercy seat? The adversary of the devil. He had the most disdain. Why? Because he don't want to cover the seat. He want to sit in it. So sometimes the ones who get close to the seat say, you know what? I'm going to kill him who's sitting at the seat. That way I can sit there. Go ahead.
And he has brought you near to him, and all your brethren the sons of Levi with you, and seek you the priesthood also?
So you don't want to be close. The very thing that Yahweh had to go through, here they're having to go to. No, you don't want to minister at the altar. You want to be the person. Go ahead.
For which cause both you and all your company are gathered together against Yahweh. And what is Aaron, that you murmur against him?
Letting them know. No, it's not me that you going against. I'm the one you see. But you don't really understand that what you are doing. Go ahead.
And Moshe sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up.
So now, disrespect. Ain't nobody got to listen to you. Go ahead.
Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of the land that flows with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, except you make yourself altogether a prince over us?
Check that out. So now all of these things are coming at him. That he did all of these things on his own. So whatever personal thing they don't like, they don't have any problem. They can just air it right out. Go ahead.
Moreover, you have not brought us into a land that flows with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up.
Now, understand something. Had they came out on Tuesday and went into the promised land Thursday afternoon, nobody would question Moshe. But see, this is a doing of Yahweh. Yahweh is the one that causes pause in action. Because in that pause is how the hearts of men becomes discovered. So now, if I let you go in there tomorrow or the day after, there's a whole lot of fake people that's going to be around you acting like they are down with this plan. But I need to put a pause in this so you can see who's really amongst you. Sometimes your triumph is not about you and you trying to get to this, you trying to get to that. Yahweh like, no. If I give you that what you trying to get right now, there's some people around you that you're going to think is real. And these are some of the most fake individuals that you can ever encounter. But if I give you that what you're seeking for now, you're not going to figure that out. In this pause, you're going to find out who some of your closest people really are. Go ahead.
You know, when you even look at the conversation coming from Dathan and Abiram, you see some general stuff, nothing concerning the tabernacle, as with the conversation being had with Korah. And Moshe was very angry and said unto Yahweh, respect not you their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them.
Right, but maybe Yahweh, Yahweh gave Moshe something that they did want. He said, I ain't take nothing away from them, but maybe they wanted something that he got. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto Korah, be you and all your company before Yahweh, you and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer and put incense in them, and bring you before Yahweh every man his censer, 250 censers, you also and Aaron, each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moshe and Aaron.
You know, this is when you got to prove to somebody that they ain't nobody. they so bold in they stand that they really gonna approach unto Yahweh. Knowing ain't nobody talked to them, ain't nobody said nothing to them, but they feel so bold in their cause. They gonna approach unto Yahweh. See, this is what happened when sometimes it's your job to approach unto Yahweh, that you eventually somehow take it lightly. See, the first time you might be in a dangerous place, you looking around. The more comfortable you get with it, now you're not looking around anymore. Here's where you about to enter into the land of danger. Now you stop respecting the power and the danger that's associated with that thing, because now you've normalized it. Go ahead.
And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the glory of Yahweh appeared unto all the congregation. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment.
Now, here's the warning. Here's the warning. And sometimes people want to know, well, why would it take you so long to do certain things? You have to watch how Yahweh deal with some things. There's certain things that he'll deal with swiftly. There's other things he give the people in the circle an opportunity to separate themselves. Go ahead.
And they fell upon their faces and said, O Elohim, the El of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will you be angry with all the congregation?
This wasn't one man. 250 knuckleheads sitting right there. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram.
But, all right, now pay attention. The people want to say, well, one man sinned, and will you be angry with the whole congregation? But you know what they wanted to do? They wanted to still stand near those people so they can play both ends against the middle. It said point blank, if you don't want to die, move. You can talk that neutral talk you want to talk. If you don't want to die, move. Go ahead.
And Moshe rose up and went on to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins.
Here go your warning. I'm giving it to you straight out. You can either separate or you going down with them. Go ahead.
So they gat up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side.
And see? So right now, understand now, that means we got more than 250 then. You got 250 that's leading the charge. No, but they done gathered all these people. So how long had they been coming near the altar to serve?
For real? Yeah, brother, I'm with you. What time we meet?
How long that been going on? Go ahead.
And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moshe said, Hereby you shall know that Yahweh had sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind.
And that's what the whole thing is about. They think that he's doing this from his own mind. They don't believe that he's led of the Spirit. That's why they don't understand that they've blasphemed against the Holy Spirit and going against him. They think they just going against him. He said, but I'm going to show you today that I have not done these things of my own mind, that I have been led to do the things that I'm doing. Go ahead.
If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then Yahweh has not sent me. But if Yahweh make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then you shall understand that these men have provoked Yahweh.
Right. He make a new, that like, Yahweh got, no, this punishment got to be so out there that they ain't never seen it. See, if you just slip and trip and bust your lip, ain't nobody gonna say that was Yahweh. No, I'm gonna create a punishment. I just, I want to make a unicorn come out of the ground, eat you, and take you down with it. It's gonna be something that's so strange you ain't gonna be able to say nothing.
Man, hey, Yahweh did that right there. I ain't never even seen nothing like that. Have you ever seen anything like that?
They ain't never seen the ground just open up and eat a man and then close up. Even when we see sinkholes, it don't close up. Okay? We see a sinkhole, and it's still a sinkhole. All right? Even when we see this, and we done seen situations where the sinkhole just swallow a house and just keep swallowing stuff. But it don't close up. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation.
Right. So they didn't just have a sinkhole. They had a sinkhole and a closed hole. Go ahead.
And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also.
So this is when Israel wake up. All right. Destruction have to be right near our tent. Then all of a sudden Israel. Now they want to run. He'd already said, get you up from among them. So you know us.
Well, we're going to get halfway back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're going to get back, but not back. You know what I'm saying? Not back. You know what I'm saying? We'll get back, but not back.
Once the hole open up,
we got to get back.
oh, now you want to get back. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
And there came out a fire from Yahweh, and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter you the fire yonder, for they are hallowed.
Now understand something. They came and offered the incense, before Yahweh. Do you understand that there are certain parts of the offering of Yahweh that is burnt holy? You do understand that, right? You do understand there were certain parts that the priest would get bits and pieces off. They cut the shoulder, they get this. There are certain parts that belong to Yahweh. It is burnt all the way on the altar. Sometimes you know just enough about Yahweh's law to get you killed. So when the fire came down out of heaven and consumed it, that's part of Yahweh's part of the offering. See, you got to understand, sometimes people know just enough to get themselves killed. Go ahead.
The censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar. For they offered them before Yahweh.
Right, you offered them before Yahweh, there it is. He said, I accept your offering. What? I accept it. Go ahead.
Therefore they are hallowed, and they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. And as Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers, wherewith they that were burnt had offered, and they were made broad plates for a covering of the altar.
Wait a minute, wasn't that Korah's job? Okay. See, Yahweh has he has poetic whoopings. He whoops you poetically. They being whipped with their own job. And now your burning is going to be a memorial. Go ahead.
To be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron come near to offer incense before Yahweh, that he be not as Korah and as his company, as Yahweh said to him by the hand of Moshe.
This is why someone of another nation cannot serve in the priesthood over Israel. We don't even, we just think, we're going to do it how we like it. See, you listen to them purple fools, and they got everybody in there. They got everybody, somebody. Let me tell you something. When Yahshua show back up, hey man, who is that? Why they sitting there? You may get yourself a nice sized congregation, but you also gonna get yourself a nice sized whooping. He said they come near to near this altar, they gonna get consumed. And if they not of Levi, They not even of Israel. That you done went and just told somebody, well, you from the Hawaiian Islands, you from here, you from there, all y'all is a tribe. What? You just go and grab anybody. Ain't nobody who done been through nothing. Just random people, random ethnicities. That means you setting those people up for the fire of Yahweh. That means you bringing those people close to the altar where the fire gonna consume them. How can you love some people and do that to them? Go ahead.
Verse 41. But on the morrow all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and against Aaron, saying, You have killed the people of Yahweh.
You see your people? Do you see your people? Make sure you see your people. Fire done came out of heaven. Now, which one of y'all done made fire shoot out of heaven before? Fire shoot out of heaven and you gonna still blame this brother.
You have killed the people of Yahweh.
Did you see a fireball shoot out of my hand? Did I set your cousin on fire? Because understand now, y'all do understand these are relatives that done burnt up now. And folks different when the stuff make it to their house. See, it's one thing when it's down the street. When they make it to their house, it's different. Understand, there's some relatives that done caught on fire now. There's some relatives that done went down in that hole. So now it's personal. Go ahead.
And it came to pass when the congregation was gathered against Moshe and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of Yahweh appeared.
This is that thing when daddy show up that you like, uh-oh. Go ahead.
And Moshe and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Get you up from among this congregation, that I may consume them as in a moment. And they fell upon their faces. And Moshe said unto Aaron, Take a censer, and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly unto the congregation, and make an atonement for them. For there is anger gone out from Yahweh. The plague is begun.
The plague has begun. So now you have a situation where they had the opportunity to step away from evil. By being amongst it, even when they ran away from it to save their life, they were still amongst it in their heart. And how you know that? Because what came out of their mouth said that they were still amongst it. Now, the plague, instead of just consuming those people, now there's a plague. Go ahead.
And Aaron took as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the congregation. And, behold, the plague was begun among the people. And he put on incense, and made an atonement for the people. And he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed. Now they that died in the plague were 14,700, beside them that died about the matter of Korah. And Aaron returned unto Moshe unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the plague was stayed.
So, the one conversation that began with Miriam ended up with the 250 plus the 14,700. This is how many lives that conversation cost. So this began with the woman's conversation. See, the men are won over by the conversation of their wives. And then the conversation makes it to the altar. Now, you got over 14,000 dead people. Almost 15,000. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22. And see, we have to understand the dynamics. You know, in Bible study, there was a question asked, and we were dealing with the ruling authority of Yahweh, what they term in the New Testament as the Godhead. You have to understand that Moshe was a man who spent so much time with the Holy Spirit that he was being transformed into a God. Do you understand that Yeshua was a God who was transformed into a man. Proverbs chapter 22. And we're going to start that at verse 1.
A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together. Yahweh is the maker of them all.
Right, but see, the prosperity preachers tell you that everybody, supposed to be rich. That God won't everybody to be rich. And I can tell you, I can point out some individuals that I have known that they were worse off the more money they got. They said, God want everybody to be rich. No, because he know half of us wouldn't be here if we were rich.
We'd be down the street. I'm just going to watch on the internet. I bought a bigger television. I'm rich. Okay. I bought fast internet. I can see Sock before you even get up there.
Right. I saw him on the way there. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, bro.
A prudent man foresees the evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Right. A prudent man looks ahead and said, you know what? This don't look good. I need to separate myself. See, what we do,
Well, this my friend. We gonna keep on going.
walk right into destruction. This my husband. This my wife. Right. You gonna walk right into destruction? Well, if all y'all are destroyed, who the hell get to save the house? Everybody can't get destroyed. You can't be simple and just walk right off into it. Go ahead, bro.
By humility and the fear of Yahweh are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that does keep his soul should be far from them. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right. Make sure you meditate on that line. When he is old. Understand, 20 is not old. And you'll be at one of them and be like, won't you get yourself together? I know you've been taught better than this. They ain't ready yet. They not ready. Go ahead. They think they grown though. You can't tell them nothing. Once they can buy their first legal drink, oh, you can't tell them nothing. They just smell it, so they can just you can just smell the stink in the air. That's me right there. Right. Time for me to get up out of here. Go ahead.
The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He that sows lawlessness shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. He that has a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he gives of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out.
Right. See, if when you see a situation, if you cast out the scorner and contention is still there, you got one or two things. You got another scorner, or they wasn't the problem. Every time we cast out a scorner, the peace that comes up in here is so absolutely magnificent. You know you done cast out a scorner. Because you don't have to deal with any of that stuff until the next scorner show up. They be like, what does it say? You resist the devil, he will flee from you for a season. Don't think that, that's it. That Lucifer just was like, oh man, they done found everybody I sent. You don't think he just, I just give up. I just give up. They just got too many powers over there. You don't think that, do you? No. He pausing, trying to figure out the right makeup. What's perfect that I can use? And you allow yourself? That's what I'm going in right there. Don't think he stopped. No, he pausing. When you come and you come to keep the Sabbath day and you shalom, understand. What did it say? It came time for the sons of Elohim to show up, and Lucifer came also. Y'all might look over there and say, that one seat empty. No, Lucifer said, preach on, son. But I'm going to attack you next week, though. But go ahead, though. He show up, too. He probably got here for y'all there. Y'all open the door, he was already in there. What? That's what he does. You don't think he gonna show up? Go ahead, bro.
Yea, strife and reproach shall cease. He that loves pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips, the king shall be his friend. The eyes of Yahweh preserve knowledge, and he overthrows the words of the transgressor. The slothful man says, there's a lion without, I shall be slain in the streets. The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of Yahweh shall fall therein.
Right. But what if the deep pit of the strange woman is the one you sleep next to? Go ahead.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
No, I'm going to whoop my baby. See, I'm not going to do that because, you know what I'm saying, see a child is future love. I don't want to whoop my child. I'm going to talk to them and they're going to understand.
You obviously have never had a child. They understand that they're going to run over you if you let them. If you are not training the child is training you. Somebody is being trained, I guarantee you. There's some training going on. I watch kids train their parents all the time. I be in the midst of watching. I'm like, oh boy, he sure is raising you in the way he wants you to go. Oh man, if you ain't taking care of that situation is taking care of you. Believe that. Go ahead.
He that oppressed the poor to increase his riches, and he that gives to the rich shall surely come to want. Bow down your ear, and hear the words of the wise, and apply your heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing, if you keep them within you. They shall withal be fitted in your lips. That your trust may be in Yahweh, I have made known to you this day, even to you. Have not I written to you excellent things in counsels and knowledge, that I might make you know the certainty, of the words of truth, that you might answer the words of truth to them that send unto you. Rob not the poor, because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For Yahweh will plead their cause, and spoil the soul of those that spoil them. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man you shall not go, lest you learn his way, and get a snare to your soul.
Right. Some people have lost their salvation and it wasn't even their cause. They took a hold to somebody else's cause. They went the way with an angry man and lost their salvation. The battle wasn't even theirs. Go ahead.
Be not you one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If you have nothing to pay, why should he take away your bed from under you? Remove not the ancient landmark which your fathers have set. See you a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men.
All right. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.